Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1998 Represent. On this episode, we're taking a look at Sketches for My Sweetheart the Drunk by Jeff Buckley. I don't think this is considered to be a studio album. It is a compilation album. It's a double album released posthumously after his death in 1997. He released, and before we talk about this album, I don't think you can really get into this album without first discussing his first album from, I want to say, 4 years prior to this, entitled Grace. So Grace came out in 1994. It's an amazing album. It's got an amazing cover of Hallelujah on it, originally, of course, by Leonard Cohen. But I remember that when that album came out, it didn't get great reviews initially. But I definitely think after his passing, it's definitely been seen in a more positive light. I think it shows up now on a lot of kind of best of lists, like best albums of all time lists, things like that. And I think Grace is considered to be pretty much his only studio album. So they released that in 1994, and then this compilation album in 1998, which I think included material that at least initially was recorded to be put onto a second album. And I remember reading that they recorded a bunch of stuff in like 1996 and 1997 that Jeff Buckley initially wasn't really proud of. They weren't really satisfied with what they had recorded, or him and his band. And they decided then to try to basically start the album over. And they went to Memphis like after the initial recordings to kind of get like a fresh start. And he went swimming in the Mississippi River and unfortunately drowned and passed away. So they started the album off. I'm actually going to get my notes here because I'm probably skipping over a little bit of stuff here. So let's go and grab those notes. Here we are. Yeah, so, okay, to start the notes over. This album, the compilation album, was released May 26, 1998. We discussed Grace briefly already. So this is a compilation album featuring stuff that he recorded in 1996 and 1997. That's essentially the first half of the album. The second half of the album is like demos and things like that. So don't think it's considered to be a studio album, but it is a compilation album. And overall, it's a very good album. Like I said, so they weren't satisfied with the original recordings, and they went to Memphis to kind of start over. And then May 29th, 1997, he went swimming in the Mississippi River and ended up drowning. In my research for this, it said he didn't have like a will or anything like that. So all the stuff in his estate basically transferred back or over to his mother, who then kind of oversaw kind of the release of this, not necessarily the production. But so what had happened was, he had passed away. The rights and all the kind of estate stuff went to her, and then her and Jeff's band kind of got wind that Sony was planning on releasing the earlier recordings that were done for what would have been the second album, the recordings that they weren't initially, or that Jeff wasn't really proud of, and they didn't want those to be released. At least in that, because if Jeff wasn't proud of them, they probably didn't want them to be released. But eventually, I think they came to an agreement where they would release the first half of the album would be what was previously recorded. The second half of the album would be demos and things like that. So Sony, I think Sony is the company that released the album, or one of their, subsidiaries or something like that. So they did come to an agreement about making it a compilation album with those recordings plus demos. Let's see. Yeah, so Sony was going to basically mix and master those, and they kind of stepped in, and then they came to an agreement about what they were going to do with it. One of the conditions of that agreement is the second half of the album, the demo half of the album. His mother didn't want any of the demos to be altered in any way. Didn't want them to be remixed or done with different arrangements or kind of anything like that. And she had a really good quote about that. I'm going to read this quote here. It's, quote, "If this was his body here and we were preparing it for his funeral, we would not put him in a suit. We would put him in a flower shirt and some black jeans and his Doc Martens and leave his hair all messed up. So to me, what that kind of symbolizes or means, or what I kind of took from it, was we don't want these recordings to be presented in such a way where, like she said, like the quote says, putting him in a suit, and we're instead putting him in like a flower shirt and black jeans and having his hair be all messed up. Is those recordings were done in that way, and that's kind of the way that Jeff probably wanted them. He probably wouldn't have wanted them to be like finely produced or like rearranged or remixed or anything like that. So presenting the recordings kind of as they were. That was like I believe a condition of this compilation coming out. So I think that's a really interesting quote on that. Let's see here. It came out when the album released. It released to pretty positive reviews. So I'm going to bring up some of those reviews here. So AllMusic gave it looks like a 4 out of 5. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A minus. The Guardian gave it a 4 out of 5. The LA Times gave it a 4 out of 4. NME gave it a 9 out of 10. Rolling Stone gave it a 4 out of 5. And then USA Today looks like a 3.5 out of 4. So pretty decent reviews overall. We're going to now take a look at the track list. This is a double album. The album's run time is about 90 minutes or so. It's about an hour and a half. Again, it's 2 discs. First disc being the kind of the recordings that were done prior to his passing. I guess they were all prior to his passing, but the stuff that was initially recorded for what would have been a second album. So we're going to go off of that. That half of the album is about 43 minutes. So track 1 is The Sky is a Landfill. Track 2 is Everybody Here Wants You. Track 3 is Opened Once. Track 4 is Nightmares by the Sea. Track 5 is Yard of Blonde Girls. That's track 5. Track 6 is A Witch's Rave. Track 7 is New Year's Prayer. Track 8 is Morning Theft. Track 9 is Vancouver. And track 10 is You and I. And again, 10 tracks on the first half of the album for about 43 minutes. Into the second part of the album here, the second disc, this is like the demo recordings and that kind of thing. And that is also 10 tracks. It is about 48 minutes 48 minutes in length, roughly. So track 1 for the second half of the album is Nightmares by the Sea. Track 2 is New Year's Prayer, an original mix of that. So there was a demo recording on the second half and another recording on the first half. This is like a demo version of that. Track 3 is Haven't You Heard? Track 4 is I Know We Could Be So Happy Baby If We Wanted to Be. Track 5 is Murder, Suicide, Me, Your Slave. Track 6 is Back in NYC. Track 7 is Demon John. Track 8 is Your Flesh Is So Nice. Track 9 is Jewel Box. And track 10 is Satisfied Mind, and that was recorded in 1992. I had first heard that in the soundtrack to, I think it was Kill Bill Volume 2, where Michael Madsen's character is listening to it. That's a Johnny Cash version of that in that movie. But that's also a cover by from Jack Rhodes and Red Hayes. So Red Hayes and Jack Rhodes did it initially, and a lot of people have covered it, including Johnny Cash and Jeff Buckley. So overall, this album is very good. It's an excellent companion piece to Grace. So in preparing to do this video, I ended up listening to both albums like a week or so ago. Grace is very good. Some people categorize it as rock. To me, it's more like soft rock. It's not super intense or anything like that. But like I said, Grace has that amazing cover of Hallelujah, of course, originally by Leonard Cohen on it. And then Sketches for My Sweetheart and the Drunk is also very good. And like I said, like Jeff Buckley, unfortunately, only 2 albums. I think there was like a live album that came out later that was on like a previously recorded show or something like that. Let me actually bring that up and see what that's. Yeah, there is. Live in Chicago is a show that was recorded in 1995, and then in 2000 they put that out as an album. So technically, I guess only 1 studio album, 1 compilation album. But an amazing singer, unfortunately taken, like way too soon, I guess. But, like I said, went swimming in the Mississippi River and unfortunately drowned. Um, Beautiful singing voice. Both these albums are, both Grace and this album are very good. I would highly recommend listening to it on wherever you listen to music. I listen to them on Apple Music, but I'm sure we're like up on whatever streaming services have them. I would highly recommend it. So this has been Sketches from My Sweetheart the Drunk. That's going to do it for this video. We'll be back again in a few days. Probably be doing like another movie or something like that. I haven't really decided what movie to watch yet. But we'll be doing one of those and then following that up with like another video game video. And we'll be doing these 1998 represents until probably like the end of the year. And then in the new year in 2024, we're going to kind of pivot it to just be general 1990s content. Same kind of format, but covering the rest of the decade. But again, that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.